Welcome to Pick a Card, Any Card.
Where we pick a card.
Any card.
And exile it all the time.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm Devin.
Today's cards are Warren Instigator.
And Norin the Wary.
Today is going to just peek into the absolute hilarity that red can just bring to the table. Mm-hmm. So
For 2 mana and less.
Yes. Lots of stuff we'll talk about today will cost more than 2 mana on my end, but I don't care.
Yeah, some of my things are pretty expensive and can get even more ludicrous later on.
So, Wary and Instigator is 2 red mana for a 1/1 Goblin Berserker with double strike.
That's good. Just a 1/1 double strike goblin is good.
It really is just value. It's a mythic rare from the Zendikar block. Its second ability is whenever Warren Instigator deals damage to an opponent, you may put a goblin creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. The flavor text just epitomizes why goblins are my favorite tribe in all of Magic. Danger! Danger! Come out of the safety of your holes!
My question is, I don't know if he's yelling danger to the rest of his goblin friends, or if he's yelling that to whatever the goblins are attacking, so they pop out of the holes and they can get him.
As I read this, just knowing how goblins are in Magic, he's alerting his tribe to danger. And yes, while normally you would say, danger's coming, go hide, goblins aren't like that.
Not
the Gerblins. No, not Gerblins.
I'm going to point out real quick, his art, I really don't like. I think his art is terrible. The best part of this art is the fact that he's got double strike and he's holding 2 weapons.
Yeah, that's fair.
Most of this art is just blank, empty space. And
it's mostly a rock.
Yeah, that one rock, and it's not very...
And now that I'm looking at it, it's really crooked.
It is really crooked. It's the camera shot. The camera was... He was probably being attacked by goblins, had to take the shot and run.
Right. So, what I love about his ability is... It's whenever he deals combat damage to an opponent, which means you really have to pay attention to how double strike works. Mm-hmm. Double strike is first strike damage and normal combat damage. Correct. Henceforth referred to as normal damage. So, his ability will trigger twice. That means if he hits, you get 2 goblins. This is very important.
Yep.
What I love about this card is, because its ability triggers twice, you can chain some things together. Mm-hmm. So cards like Goblin Matron. You bring Goblin Matron in with a first strike damage. Goblin Matron's ability triggers before normal damage is dealt.
That it does.
And resolves. Goblin Matron is 3 mana for a 1/1 that when Goblin Matron enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a goblin card, reveal that card, and put it into your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. It's a goblin tutor.
Yeah.
There's another one called Goblin Harbinger, which is the exact same thing, but black.
Yeah.
So, you can hit with first strike damage, drop a Goblin Matron onto the battlefield, go find another goblin, and then put it onto the battlefield with normal damage.
Yeah. That works. No, actually, when I looked at your notes for this card, I was wondering, like, Goblin Matron. I'm like, yeah, it's good, but what is he talking about? I forgot about the whole double thing. So I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, because it's if you have Goblin Matron, it essentially says do it once and get any goblin you want.
Yep.
As opposed to just whatever's in your hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, that works.
It's really nice if you've only got Goblin Matron in your hand. The second strike isn't a whiff.
You're right. You're mentioning goblins, and I read this card, and I'm like, my thought, I think it's the blue player in me goes, how can I use this to get something like Emrakul onto the field? How do I make Emrakul in my hand a goblin? Can I do that? Is that possible? Is there a way to do that? Do you know?
I don't know. Is there a way to
make cards in my hand goblins?
Well, there are definitely cards, like, if you were to use Changelings are all creature types at all times, including in your deck.
Yep.
So you could Goblin Matron for a Changeling.
That you can.
I don't know if there's a card that we'll have to look into this.
I will do it later. But I really think it's abusable.
Goblin Chieftain
is a solid Gerblin.
It's a great Gerblin.
Yeah.
So, if you slip Goblin Chieftain onto the battlefield with the first strike damage, its ability is static and carries through to the second damage.
That it does.
So you actually hit them for 3. So you really want to bring this out, and its counterpart that I've included, but you want to bring this one out in order to... And you want to bring this one out first, with first strike damage.
Well, yeah, because you get in there for that 1 extra damage, and now all of your goblins from here on out have...
+1/+1 and haste.
+1. Know what I would do if I happened to get Goblin Chieftain as the first one? Right, let's say I had God Hand, just because. I would follow Goblin Chieftain up with Krenko.
Krenko would be a good one.
And then just like, cool, now I have at least 3 goblins. Tap Krenko, because he has haste now. Get 3 more Gribbons.
That's solid.
Krenko is a really, really good goblin.
Yeah.
Fun fact, if you're going to make a goblin EDH deck, Krenko's your goblin.
Well, I mean...
Because he good.
There's not a whole lot of legendary goblins to pick from, so...
Actually, one of the best commanders... No, wait, sorry. One of the best legendary creature cards ever is a goblin. Kiki Jiki, Mirror Breaker.
I'm saying there
is a goblin.
There are legendary goblins,
but they're
not
good
a
for
lot of
decks.
them. And most of them come from the Kamigawa block.
Yeah, and they don't work in a goblin deck. Like Kiki
I'm actually
Jiki.
going to mention one of them in this later.
Really?
Yeah. So... The counterpart to Goblin Chieftain that I'm including, because Goblin King exists, but I don't think Goblin King is anything better than sideboard. I'm including Mad Auntie.
Mad Auntie.
Mad Auntie.
Mad Auntie. I love Mad Auntie, and I am so happy that you included her into this.
This is a fantastic card.
Mad Auntie is my favorite goblin of all time, and the reason for that is because she has a frog on her head.
She does have a frog on her
That's
head.
the sole reason why. Not only that, but she's also really good on the fact that she's black.
I mean, honestly, I did tech together a deck for this, and it's green-black, or...
Green-black
It's
goblins.
red-black.
Good luck with that one.
Yeah, it works.
It...
Boggarts. Or sorry, Spriggans. Spriggans are green goblins.
Are they actually goblins?
Yeah, they have creature-type goblin.
Oh. Yeah, but they suck. Shut up.
So, Mad Auntie is another Goblin Lord, gives goblins +1/+1.
Mad Auntie.
But she
it's not
has...
Leviosa, it's Leviosa.
You can tap her to regenerate another target goblin. So if you bring her out, after you've brought out Goblin Chieftain, she's got haste and can just immediately start regenerating.
And the second you do it.
Plus she's a solid. You can bring her out as early
And she's a lord.
And she's a lord. You don't want to run too many Goblin Lords in this deck because you really want your Warren Instigator to get through. In order to do that, you run a couple of...
More goblins.
Well, yeah, but they're always going to want to block the one that's bringing out more goblins.
Then
to want to kill
Then you put in Krenko, and you swing Krenko, because they're like, I gotta block Krenko, because Krenko's going to kill me if I don't.
This guy, Warren Instigator can kill you.
Let's be real, like, every single goblin is almost as dangerous as every other goblin.
And that's why I love goblins. They're just... Individually, they're pretty much crap.
Yeah.
It's true. But you just throw a whole...
They swarm in numbers.
Any problem that can't be solved by a goblin can be solved by more goblins.
I mean, yeah. Just like,
got a problem? Throw more goblins at it.
Just need more goblins.
You just need more goblins. So you can do some really interesting things with his ability, utilizing Auntie's Snitch.
Thank you.
Auntie's Snitch is 2 generic and a black for a 3/1 goblin rogue that cannot block. Who cares? You've got Gerblin. It has Prowl. Also, who cares, because you're not casting it for its Prowl cost. Whenever a goblin or rogue you control deals combat damage to a player, if Auntie's Snitch is in your graveyard, you may return Auntie's Snitch to your hand. Which means, if you hit with first strike damage, she comes back to your hand, and then you can put her onto the battlefield with normal damage.
Yes, you can. No, you could also put her back with double strike damage, because they trigger and are put on the stack at the same time, so you just stack them in the way that she resolves first. Because it doesn't target.
Yeah, you can.
And it also doesn't target, so doesn't matter if that changes.
You're right. So if you hit with first strike, that means you've hit, both abilities trigger, you can just have her resolve first, goes back to your hand, and then placed onto the battlefield right away.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know. You're welcome. And if you have something like, who's the one? The one where you sacrifice a goblin and add a mana to your mana pool?
Okay.
If you have him on the field and you, play her, sacrifice her, do it again, sacrifice her, have 2 red mana.
Yep.
I mean, it wouldn't work because your mana pool would empty at the end of step. But hey, as a start, cast Lightning Bolt or something twice.
So the deck I teched together, I was like, I'm gonna run 3 lightning bolts, and then just drop in a Goblin Dark Dwellers for funsies. And then I realized...
That works.
No.
Oh, come on. Goblin Dark Dwellers is good. Not in a Goblin deck, but it's Goblin Dark Dwellers is good.
Goblin Dark Dwellers is a great Goblin, not in a Goblin deck. This deck is entirely creatureless. I pulled out the Dark Dwellers and the lightning bolts because why?
Entirely creatureless.
Yes, creatureless Goblin deck.
All right. There are a few Goblin enchantments out there.
There are some Goblin... I actually really considered running Boggart Shenanigans.
Which one's that one?
Boggart Shenanigans.
I think it's Bogart, by the way.
You very well could be correct. I've always said Boggart.
That's fair.
Boggart Shenanigans is 3 mana for a tribal enchantment goblin.
Yep, that's the one.
Whenever another goblin you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have Boggart Shenanigans deal 1 damage to target player. So this is hilarious. Because you run this with Siege Gang Commando, that's 3 damage. Siege Gang Commander is...
You can tell because he's wearing underwear.
Siege Gang Commander is 5 mana, 3 generic and 2 red. I mentioned the mana cost. It's unnecessary. There's no reason to hardcast something this big. When Siege Gang...
That is true. Like, if you have this guy, you're like, I'm not going to cast him.
No.
I'm going to put him in with Warren Instigator, because that's what
I'm
going to
put him in turn 3 with Warren Instigator, because why not?
You're going to hope to put him in with turn 3 with a Warren Instigator. Let's be real here.
If you've got him. If you don't have him and you happen to have one of your goblin tutors, you can put a tutor in and then still put him in with
that you can.
Warren Instigator. Siege Gang Commander. When Siege Gang Commander enters the battlefield, put 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens onto the battlefield. Pay a generic and a red, sacrifice a goblin, Siege Gang Commander deals 2 damage to target creature or player. And this is why I didn't start running lightning bolts. Because he comes in, so you have 4 goblins right now for free. You pay 2 mana and you can kill a creature.
Pay 2 mana and you sacrifice and you can shock a creature.
Yeah.
You can kill a small creature.
Then if... This is one of those problems where you just throw more goblins at it.
That is true, but then you have to put more mana into it. So if it's like a 7/7,
well,
you're gonna have to put like 8 mana into it. Which if you're goblins, you don't want 8 mana. There will never be a point where a goblin deck will have 8 mana.
It's true, but if they have a 7/7 out before you've won, you've lost.
So you know what this does really well though? Get you 4 goblins.
Exactly.
And that's oh, that's too big.
That's why it's in here.
That's too big to kill. But you know what I'm going to do? Run around it.
I can get around it all day.
So you kill all the little things. You kill the numbers.
Just kill the numbers, and then just run around them.
Yep.
More goblins.
Turn all your red cards sideways. This game's easy.
So there's a hilarious card called Boggart Mob. It's 4 mana.
I am surprised of how often you're talking about. Like, I know there are a lot of black goblins, but like there's like 90 red goblins to 1 black goblin.
I wanted to not just talk red. Boggart Mob is 4 mana for a goblin warrior. It has champion a goblin. So when it comes into play...
Oh, this is gonna be good.
When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you exile another goblin you control. When this leaves the battlefield, that card returns to the battlefield. So the ideal target for this is target your goblin matron.
Yep.
It entered the battlefield already. It's done. You champion it, it leaves the battlefield. If this dies, it comes back and you tutor again.
Yep. Sacrifice it for whatever reason.
Now, Boggart Mob has the ability, whenever a goblin you control deals combat damage to a player, you may put a 1/1 black goblin rogue creature token onto the battlefield. Anytime any goblin deals damage.
That's decent. It is any goblin.
Yeah.
Oh.
If Warren Instigator hits, that's 2 goblins.
Yep. I was really underwhelmed when I just assumed it was him.
No.
Because I know there's a Merfolk champion card like this, because that's why I was really happy when I seen champion a goblin.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh, I know the champion cards are really fun and interesting. The Merfolk one, whenever it deals damage, sacrifice a Merfolk, take another turn after this.
That's really good.
That's really good. So when I seen this, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be real good. And I seen a goblin, or I didn't see the a goblin bit. I'm like, oh, that's
underwhelming.
That is very underwhelming. Oh, any goblin.
Yeah, any goblin. If any goblin deals damage, it just more goblins.
Yep.
This is your solution. People will want to kill this. Plus, it's a 5/5?
For 4.
Why not have a 5/5?
And what out that Merfolk was, I think, a 4/4 for 5.
Yeah. I mean, it let you take an extra turn.
That is true.
But no. Let's just have a 5/5 with, a couple of Goblin Lords that makes it stupid big.
Yep.
There's your 7/7.
You big.
I included Goat Napper. I thought of you.
Thank you.
I don't know,
I saw you and saw him when you were scrolling through.
He's a sideboard card because occasionally your opponent might play a goat.
If I was playing a game that didn't normally have goats, and for whatever reason I happened to have a goat on the field, and someone stole it with a Goat Napper, I'd probably concede.
You just
win. Like, that is a flavor game win so hard.
It's in the deck I checked together. There are 4 cards in the sideboard. All 4 are Goat Nappers.
Yeah. Freaking love Goat Napper.
We'll post a link to this deck tech. I made a tapped out account for the podcast, so we can start.
You mentioned that
teching these together as we.
I kind of wish you did it last week, so that way I could have made that Jace deck I was talking about.
Make the Jace deck and put it on tapped out, and we'll go back and edit the.
You realize the Jace deck is literally going to be a playset of every Jace and insert 60 - X islands, right?
Have fun.
That's just how many Jaces there are.
I know. Have fun. I'm not saying we have to put together the most competent decks on this show.
Okay. Ooh, Goblin Commando.
Goblin Commando.
See, he's not wearing underwear.
Fair enough. 5 mana for a 2/2 Goblin.
You gotta know the difference.
When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target creature.
Commander do similar things.
It's not the best, but if you can drop it in for free, that's a free shock right there.
That's just saying, he's a 2/2 Goblin that deals 2 damage when he enters the battlefield. That's solid. How much does he cost? 5. That's not good. If you play him for free, that makes him a little bit better.
That makes him acceptable.
If you can cast him for free, that makes him good.
That's the only reason he's in here. Is because you can just put him onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
No 5 mana required. Goblins are best when cheap. Goblins are better when free. The next card I want to talk about just has game-ending properties.
He's also really ugly.
Yeah. Goblin Pyromancer. Printed in Onslaught. And only printed once. 4 mana for a 2/2 Goblin Wizard. When Goblin Pyromancer... Pyromancer. Oh, that's a card name right there.
That actually could work.
When Goblin Pyromancer enters the battlefield... Goblin creatures get +3/+0 until end of turn.
Ow.
All of them. If you drop this in with first strike damage, that's 4 damage on the normal damage.
Yeah, that gets there.
He has a downside, though.
He has a hell of a downside.
Which is why you really want to end the game with him.
I love this card now.
At the beginning of the end step, destroy all goblins.
I can't read the flavor text from here.
His flavor text is perfect. The good news is, we figured out how the wand works. The bad news is, we figured out how the wand works.
I love the concept of I know, we need all these goblins to deal more damage. Let's light them all on fire. And you do that and you swing them. It's like, well, the goblins are on fire now. What do we do? And then they die.
This card cracks me up. Because it wins games.
Yeah.
I mean, +3/+0 is
4.
nothing to sneeze at.
Goblin Pyromancer. This is a card that you don't want to run, but you're going to just because it's so fun. I would run this in an EDH deck, or EDH Goblin deck, because that's hilarious.
I have 132 goblins. Not anymore.
Yeah, it's just like one of those, I don't need the +3/+0 on every goblin, but it's going to be fun. And if I don't win, I guess I'm screwed.
Oh yeah, no, he cracks me up. Now the next two cards are a fun combo. Goblin Recruiter. This card is ridiculous. 2 mana for a 1/1. When Goblin Recruiter enters the battlefield, search your library for any number of goblin cards and reveal those cards. Shuffle your library, then put them on top in any order.
That is a good goblin.
Just by itself, this is hilarious, because it just lets you set up the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a goblin deck. I have 30 goblins and 10 lands.
I have 4 land, in my hand already. You could drop that turn 2 and be like, I'm set.
Yeah, all the lands are at the bottom, or when I need to draw them.
Yeah,
well, maybe not. They wouldn't be when you need to draw them because you can't reveal lands. You just put goblins
on top. Yeah,
but with the next card, Goblin Ringleader, 4 mana for a 2/2 goblin with haste. When Goblin Ringleader enters the battlefield, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all goblin cards revealed this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So if you first
stack the top of your library, and then...
Yeah, you stack the top 4, and then you get them. Now this has the bonus of, refreshing your hand with goblins.
Yeah.
Because what you'll want to do is you'll want to hit Goblin Recruiter with first strike damage. When Warren Instigator deals first strike damage, you want to slip out the Goblin Recruiter.
Yep.
Then you want to slip out the Ringleader so that you can
stack the library, draw the cards.
Stack your library. I honestly would only stack the top 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm. I would stack a little bit more than that. Well, it also depends on the deck.
No, you stack the top 4 and then you put a Goblin Matron just under that, so it's your draw.
Yeah.
And then you can just tutor up the next piece.
That'd work.
And this is the biggest problem with this deck and with just Goblin decks in general. They're cheap and they're free, and you just dump your hand onto the battlefield.
Yeah, and you just run out of gas so fast.
This just helps you reset your hand and just keep on going.
Well, why don't you just run Wheel of Fortune or Wheel of Fate? Which one? The one where you discard your hand, draw 7 cards.
Because that's not a goblin.
Yeah, but it's really good.
But it's not a goblin. When I build a deck for flavor, I build a deck for flavor.
No. See, that's the problem. You're running goblins in this clear blue-white control deck. Rookie mistake. I understand.
So there are a couple of just one-ofs that I've put into this just because they work. One of them is...
you like them, let's be real here.
Well, yes, they're good cards. One is Wart, Boggart Ante.
Who is the only card that has a picture of cute goblins on it?
It's true.
How dare this card do that?
Apparently baby Boggarts are adorable.
They are... Look at them! Like, I just want to take one home and raise it as my own. It's so cute.
Wart is 4 mana, 2 generic, a black and a red, for a legendary creature, Goblin Shaman, with Fear. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target goblin card from your graveyard to your hand. This is the only reason she's in the deck. You don't ever... If the game starts going long and you start running out of goblins, which... You're going to start running out of goblins because
eventually.
They're just so easy to kill.
Not if you're running Krenko. You just tap Krenko and put in like 5 more goblins.
You could be running Krenko. But those goblins don't get brought back. And if Krenko dies, Wart can bring her back.
You don't need to bring them back. You just bring more.
If Krenko dies, you can bring Krenko back with Wart.
That's fair.
And actually, I'm pretty sure Wart is a man. Because Auntie is not specific to females.
You're right. Well, Auntie isn't. Auntie is.
The title of Auntie. The title of Auntie for Boggarts and Goblins in Lorwyn is not gender specific. So I think Wart is actually male.
But it could.
Actually, you know what? No. Wart's not male because the next card I'm going to talk about, Wart, the Raid Mother.
Yeah, that
is the Shadowmoor counterpart.
And I take back what I said about them baby goblins being cute, because them ugly sons of a bitches.
So, Wart the Raid Mother is 4 generic and 2 hybrid red-green for a legendary creature, Goblin Shaman. When Wart the Raid Mother enters the battlefield, put 2 1/1 red and green Goblin Warrior creature tokens onto the battlefield. And then the second ability is pretty much useless in this deck. Each red or green instant or sorcery you cast has Conspire. Meh.
What does Conspire do again?
As you cast the spell, you may tap 2 untapped creatures you control that share a color with it. When you do, copy it, and you may choose new targets for the copy. So, yeah, technically you could...
I like her better.
You could copy lightning bolts with it.
Copy lightning bolts, copy dragon fodder.
Yeah.
Copy
a
copy spell that's copying your dragon fodder.
Now you're getting into that blue-white control deck again.
No. You go like Reverberate or Fork or Increasing Vengeance. Okay. So it'd be like dragon fodder. Tap 2 goblins. Copy it. All right. Let the copy resolve. Get 2 more goblins. Alright, now I cast Reverberate. Expending 4 mana thus far, which if you have 6 because you have her, you have 4 mana thus far. Tap the 2 goblins, get a copy of Reverberate. Let Reverberate resolve, copy and Reverberate, Reverberate, or you could just copy.
I was gonna say, copying Reverberate doesn't do a whole lot. You'd have to copy Dragon Fodder.
You just continually copy Reverberate over and over again.
You can't. You'd run out of mana.
No, because it Reverberate's copying Reverberate.
Oh, yeah.
Copy Reverberate, and you just keep doing that forever until you get tired, and then you start copying Dragon Fodder. Copy Dragon Fodder, get 2 more goblins. Let the first one resolve, 2 more goblins. Let the original one you cast resolve, 2 more goblins. So you've got, I think, 10 goblins now?
That's possible. But I wouldn't do it with 6 mana. I'd drop her turn 3 or 4.
With a Warren Instigator.
With a Warren Instigator.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you're not, due to the fact that you're not going to run her in a Warren Instigator.
I am.
You are?
Yes.
But she's not good.
3 goblins for free. One of them's a 3/3.
No, 3 goblins for 6. That you may
goblins.
You may get with Warren Instigator.
3 goblins for free.
The one for where you can sacrifice goblins to deal damage. That's worth it. Like, you're not running instants or sorceries, and that's definitely the ability that makes her worth 6 mana. Unless you're going for a green-red EDH deck. Even then you're not going to play her for...
If you're going for green-red EDH, you're probably not playing goblins.
Yeah, sure. Well,
I mean, you could be, but you're probably not.
You're not going to go green-red goblins. You're just going to go red goblins.
So...
Because Krenko's just too good of a goblin commander, to not run.
Yeah.
I like this wart better than the first wart.
Why?
I think it's because she's more control than anything.
Oh, yeah, that'll do it.
Also, the first one... Go back to the first one. I can't remember what the first one does. Like, I like the first one.
It's a 3/3 with Fear and returns goblins. This is the commander that I would use. If I was going to build a goblin commander deck, it would be with Wart.
Yeah, because she's red-black.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I don't think she's powerful enough.
I mean, she's a 3/3 with Fear.
Yeah, I mean, like, her ability is powerful. I don't mean, like, damn it, she's a 3/3 goblin with Fear. I'm like, that's
pretty good.
That's decent. Like,
for
her ability,
4 mana.
She brings a goblin to your graveyard to your hand. I'm like, that's okay. I mean...
That can be dangerous.
It can be dangerous. And I'm not saying she's, like, a bad thing to have in your field. It's just, like, I see her and I'm like, I would rather have Krenko any day of the week.
Yeah, but...
It's just like, I can think of goblins that are just better. And, like, when I look at her and I look at the other wart, and I'm like, I think the other wart... Though I must admit, the other wart isn't a goblin card more than just a good green-red spell that happens to be a goblin.
Right.
Now that I think about it, like, that's why I like the other one. In a goblin deck, yeah, the red-black one is definitely better. In any other deck that just happens to be running one of these two, I would think the green-red one.
So yeah, it's quite possible you can always make allowances for any specific card depending on your personality and how you want to play the game.
Yeah.
So, I like Bogardante. I can understand liking Raid Mother.
I like her. Don't get me wrong.
I like her better than Raid Mother.
That is fair.
So,
and that being said...
Goblins. They're hilarious.
So many Gerbins.
Let's talk about another hilarious freaking card.
Oh, we're going to my card now?
Yeah.
Yay! Excellent. You ready?
Yeah.
So my card of the week is Norin the Wary. He is a 2/1 legendary creature human warrior. For 1 red mana.
That's actually pretty solid.
Yeah,
by
like
itself.
a 2/1 for 1. I mean, that's a piker, and that's a 1 mana piker. Like, that's solid. Is that all? No, it is not, my friend. He's from Time Sprawl, by the way, if I didn't mention that.
Yeah, well, he's still not the original piker. You know, the original piker was a goblin.
Yeah, goblin piker. That's where the name came from.
Yeah, I know. Was originally a goblin.
Yep. Anyway, that is not all, my friends. Norin the Wary's only ability is, when a player casts a spell or a creature attacks, exile Norin the Wary. Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. He is the multiverse's biggest coward.
He's like, he's just gone.
He's just like,
all the time.
What was that? Get out of here, go! He just runs.
I'm out. It doesn't even, you can't even, like, trick his ability. Like, a lot of abilities where it's like, oh, well, a player will cast something to target it, and it'll go on the stack, and then they can trick it by, like, slipping something on top.
Like, in response, I kill it. It's like, well, in response, its ability activates again, exiling himself. Shit.
Yeah, you just can't... You can't sneak around this. He's just gone.
You have to have it be like an activated ability or something like that in order to target him with anything. So annoying.
But hilarious.
Oh, he is... absolutely hilarious.
I want this as a command. I just want a commander deck that's just him. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know what else. There's a bunch of lightning bolts and burn spells.
No, you just, if you're doing that, you just go absolutely crazy stuff. Things like the biggest one that I can think of is Scrambleverse.
Yeah.
There's like Scrambleverse,
Warp
World.
Yeah, after Scrambleverse resolves, he comes back. Yep. He's completely unaffected by Scrambleverse.
That he is.
He's completely unaffected by Warp World?
Yep. He's good. It's just so fun dealing with him. It's so fun using him. It is not fun having to deal with him.
I mean, it's not like he can deal you combat damage.
That is true.
Ever.
Yeah. It makes me laugh that he spooks himself.
It does.
And it's like, alright guys.
You can have a completely empty board state with nobody having any cards in hand. You can attack with him and he's like, I don't know about this, guys.
This is too easy. I gotta get the hell out of here.
Something's gonna go wrong.
In his defense, no one's around to see him run.
That's true.
And he who fights but runs away lives to run away again. I want a card alteration of him, with the exception of he's just Jack Sparrow. And just like that flavor text.
I love his flavor text though.
Yes, I have a bad feeling about this. Just all the time. I really fun fact, I was at Gen Con this year, and there's a guy who has a Monty Python and the Holy Grail deck. I can't remember what his commander was, but he had Norin the Wary, except it was altered to be Sir Robin. Had like Pyrite Spellbomb as the Holy Hand Grenade. And there was another card that was also like a spell bomb. That was a Holy Hand Grenade. He had Tinker Mage, who was the squire who brought the Holy Hand Grenade.
Yeah.
And he would play Tinker Mage, go get the Holy Hand Grenade with the Tinker Mage, who looks like the squire who brought it.
That's hilarious.
He had a copy of Wrath of God that had like the picture of God,
right?
The Holy Grail, and it was like the whole deck was just full of stuff like that. He had like 7 or 8 like card alts that looked like that. Everything was based off of things. Like he had Killer Rabbit. There was like a card called Killer Rabbit. He had Zodiac Chicken for some reason. A whole bunch of cards like that, and it was awesome. I loved that deck.
Hilarious.
But yeah, Norin the Wary was Sir Robin. They need to reprint
Wrath of God with the Theros gods.
They did.
Did they?
Yeah, they reprinted Wrath of God with Heliod.
Okay, well,
and I'm
satisfied.
Yep, I'm going to show the art on the video at one point.
Satisfied. So let's talk about gods some more.
Yeah.
Because Norin shares a color with at least 2 of them.
Yep.
3, actually.
A lot of them, actually.
Yeah.
5 of them, to be exact.
5.
Because they have a god for not 15... just every color, but every single color combination.
Right.
So there's one of every...
There's the original 5, which are single color, and then there are 10 that have dual color.
Yeah.
So there's 15 gods.
Yes. I thought you were going somewhere else with that.
No.
Anyway, so yeah.
I just like to count.
The best one, and if you're running Norin the Wary as your commander, the only one you can play in a commander deck is Perforos, God of the Forge.
And if you're running Perforos in a commander deck, why is he not your commander?
Because Norin the Wary is the commander.
I know. It's hilarious to me that you have a good, solid commander in your deck, and not the commander.
I can see that.
One of the 99.
Well, actually, I don't think I've ever seen a Perforos be a commander.
I have.
But
he's a pretty boss commander.
I don't think so, and this is why. He is only red. Mono red is not a very good color for
It can be.
It can be done, and it can make an okay deck, but like Perforos is an amazing card, but people don't run it as their
Goblin Arsonist.
Congratulations, you've done 3 damage.
Well, 2 now and 1 later.
2 to everyone and 1 to someone else. In a game where you have 40 life. That's one of the reasons why red isn't that good as mono red is not a good commander color. You can get there with decks like Norin the Wary. You can't get there with like Goblin unless you're going like Cranko, get a billion goblins and swing. You can get there, but Perforos is usually run in the commander deck because he's really good.
Well,
And like I want a red-black deck or a red-blue deck or a red-black-white deck. And so, is there a red-black-white commander?
I'm sure there is.
Probably.
Red, black, white, that's...
I don't know. But,
No, there has to be because Khans did this for us. Khans gave us all the wedges. Khans gave us a legendary for all of the wedge
you're
colors.
right. That's Mardu.
Anafenza.
No. Did I say
Anafenza the
green?
foremost.
What colors did I say?
You said red, black, white, not red, green, white.
Yeah, that's Mardu. The Mardu...
Or black.
Who's the Mardu guy?
Mardu is Zerga.
Who's Mardu? He is Mardu.
Yeah.
Ugh. Zergo was bad. Sorry. Zergo is actually a pretty good commander. I've actually seen people run Zergo. I've seen people run Tiny Zergo too. And it's really interesting.
Tiny Zergo.
He was so small. He was a 2/1. He was a 7/2. If Tiny Zergo would swing at Big Zergo, Tiny Zergo would kill him. I mean, they'd both die, but
Right.
Zergo was a wimp. I'm surprised he survived that. Of course, Zergo was like, well, I'm indestructible when I attack. So if I'm always attacking...
Always be attacking.
And that's just how it works. Or it's like it's either when he attacks or when it's your turn. Anyway. But yeah, Perforos is really good. And I don't think we've said what Perforos does yet.
I mean, do we need to?
I mean, at least tell them what it does. So 4 mana, he's one of the gods, legendary enchantment creature, god. A lot of words. Indestructible.
It really is.
The whole god thing. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Perforos deals 2 damage to each opponent.
Which you could do by just playing cheap creatures.
Yep. And the you mean cheap creatures like Norin the Wary?
Yeah.
Fun fact, Perforos' second ability is actually kind of relevant in Norin the Wary deck. It is pay 3, creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. What does that mean? That means if you're running cards like Pandemonium, which says whenever a creature enters the battlefield, that creature's controller may have it deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player of his or her choice. So,
that only works if you activate Perforos' ability in response to Pandemonium's ability going on the stack.
yes, but it's just
Because
it's just an extra damage every turn,
Right.
or an extra damage whenever. If you have 3 mana, you can use it.
Whenever. Right.
Or if you, for some reason, have infinite mana. But yeah, Pandemonium, really good, because just every turn, like, unless your opponents decide not to cast spells.
We're playing Commander. That's blasphemy.
Yeah, just like, I can't not cast spells on my turn.
That's
And,
why
like,
that's
yeah-
why Commander Werewolf decks don't exist.
Yeah, like, they'll swing, but they're sure as hell gonna cast a spell. What are you, crazy?
Commander decks attacking is almost heresy.
Yeah. No, you attack. You just don't attack until you have like a 6/6 on the field. It's like, I'm not swing at that guy. Why? Because I don't like you. That's why. A card that's really good in this is Genesis Chamber.
I like Genesis Chamber, and why would it ever be tapped? I mean, in this particular instance,
You're
you're not running Affinity; it'll never be tapped.
A lot of artifacts do that,
Yeah,
where they just have
it's
that if
untapped.
it's not untapped.
it's because there are so many things that allow you to tap artifacts to pay for stuff.
There are a few things like that.
So
Also, I think when was this made? Mirrodin? Return to
it was
Mirrodin?
Darksteel,
Darksteel.
which is in the original Mirrodin.
Yeah,
block.
wasn't that also like, I know Howling Mine had that
Right.
whole tap thing, and it actually comes up sometimes.
Yeah, because there are things that are like, oh, tap 2 artifacts you control, or stuff like that.
Or like, no, it's usually from your opponent. Your opponent says, oh, tap 2 things down, or tap target creature or target artifact or something like that. It's like, or 2 things. It's like, I tap your creature that's relevant, and I tap insert X thing here. It's like, oh, I'll tap the Howling Mine, so you have to draw.
Right. So like
Stuff like that.
either way, there's a lot of ways for artifacts to become tapped in the Mirrodin block.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a weird thing that they put on a bunch of random artifacts in those old cards, and they just stopped caring. It's like,
For
they
this,
never
it makes
come up.
sense because this is kind of a powerful artifact. 2 mana for
Yeah.
a creature anytime a non-token enters the battlefield.
I don't think we said what it did yet. Technically,
2 mana for 2 mana uncommon for whenever
Good
a
job.
non-token enters the battlefield. That's great.
that is really good. It's essentially a 1/1 mirror every turn for a Norin the Wary deck,
Yeah, but and
and it's not just your turn, every turn.
yes,
That's big. That's important.
because
That's
Norin is
important.
always be running away.
Yeah. Like,
Always.
That's why Norin is so
Never
good
not
Commander,
run.
because it's every turn, not just your turn. Unless someone doesn't cast a spell, which really the only time someone's not casting a spell if they're a control deck. and they're just going to cast the spell on someone else's turn
Yeah.
when someone else already cast spells.
Right. No, aha. Silence. 1 white mana, player can't cast spells.
Yep. And then in response to silence, Norin the Wary goes away.
He's like, it's too quiet, I'm out! I don't like it so quiet!
Alright, nothing is quite as scary as hearing literally nothing.
Yeah.
Like, that's why the spell silence in D&D doesn't exactly work to sneak around. Because if you have 2 guards sitting there and all of a sudden they hear literally nothing, they're gonna start calling back up. It's like, oh fuck, what? It's gonna be even funnier if they have like a friend. Like, it doesn't work on a podcast because I'm like pantomiming me screaming and losing my shit.
I'm sitting here waiting. Like, does he realize that this is an audio only medium?
Well, I realized that the second I started mouthing and nothing came out. Like, you weren't sitting there for very long. Anyway, we got really off topic. What's another card that works really good, Norin the Wary?
Anything works good. Wrath of God, Damnation, they all just work. You still have a creature.
Yeah,
you can't do anything.
And just
with
any
it.
enter the battlefield triggers. In fact, in my notes, I put how to use effectively. 4 words. Enters the battlefield triggers. Just anything that has that.
Yeah, anything that triggers when a creature enters the battlefield. Which, we talked about quite a few of them with Force of Savagery.
Yeah, we did.
There were a lot of abilities that hit when a creature entered the battlefield.
Like Warstorm Surge.
Yeah. Warstorm Surge is good because it just deals damage. It's like Pandemonium.
Yeah, it's a little bit better in Pandemonium because it's only you. Pandemonium's cheaper. And you're going to run both.
Right.
Pandemonium's just cheaper, so you're going to get it out there earlier. But speaking of enter the battlefield triggers, you know what just like hard locks Norin the Wary?
What?
Torpor Orb. Like creatures entering the battlefield does not cause abilities to trigger.
It doesn't hardlock him at all. He still runs away.
That is true. He still runs away, but
because he goes away on cast.
But he doesn't do anything when he comes back.
Nope, but he still runs away. Torpor Orb does not stop him from running away. Yep. It might shut your deck down.
Yeah, like your deck.
But you still have the most evasive card in all of Magic.
Yep. I wouldn't say the most evasive. I would say the most evasive is Progenitus. Even then, Progenitus can still be board wiped. It's like, I cost Wrath of God. Like, surprise, Progenitus is still here. Or Progenitus is gone. Norin the Wary, on the other hand, is also gone, but he'll be back.
He is the most evasive card in all of Magic. He evades even himself.
That is true.
That is how evasive he is. In fact, the only way around his ability is activated abilities, but if your opponent activates an ability to target him, the only thing you have to do is cast a spell.
Yeah. And just like in response, I lightning bolt you, and he goes away. It's like, damn it. Even then, even if they do kill him, he's 1 mana. And if you're playing Commander and you put 1 mana in him, it's like turn 6. I finally killed off your Norin the Wary. Oh no, I spend 3 mana to bring him back. Oh no.
Then they have to go through all of that again.
Yeah. It's like crap. But anyway, probably one of the more fun things you can do is Confusion in the Ranks, which is a 5 mana enchantment that says, when an artifact, creature, or enchantment enters the battlefield, its controller chooses target permanent another player controls that shares a card type with it. Exchange control of those permanents.
Now, if I recall correctly, Norin the Wary always comes back to you.
Yep. It will come back under its owner's control every time.
So you can just unleash a torrent of hell.
Steal everyone's
and
shit.
Take all of their cards. Actually, no, you can't do it all in one turn because
he comes back at the end.
He comes back at the end, but you can just keep casting something.
But no, you don't need to because Norin will just do it. You play Confusion in the Ranks. Okay.
Norin runs away.
End of turn. He comes back. Ability triggers. You swap control with Norin and what's her bucket? Something else. They swap. He casts a spell. Norin leaves.
Yeah.
Norin comes back under your control. Ability activates. You change control with the next guy. They cast a spell. Norin leaves.
You can play a game of Commander with all of your opponent's commanders.
Yep. You just take all their crap.
I think he would be hilarious in just a standard 60-card deck.
Oh, he would.
Just a deck that circles around him and ridiculous things. Oh man, he's hilarious.
Oh, he's amazing. There's a reason why I picked him. because he
Red is one of the funniest colors.
It is one of the funniest colors. It's got access to one of the...
Blue takes itself too seriously.
That's because blue is a very serious color.
Black is... Well, black's just...
Black is risky.
Yeah,
like black is really good at like having strong abilities, but even worse downsides.
But it also takes itself very seriously. White is just stuck up and
White
stuffy.
takes itself more seriously than
Yeah, white
anything.
probably takes itself the most seriously. Green is too concerned with just surviving and being huge to have fun.
Green is survives and does natural stuff.
Red is all about freedom, and freedom can be hilarious.
Let's be real here. Red is all about that chaos.
It's about freedom, and freedom is a little chaotic, yeah.
Very chaotic. Which is why a lot of people are really, really wondering why on earth Liliana hasn't at least been red at some point.
Yeah, I could see Lily being red-black.
Yeah, like, she should have at least been red at some point.
I mean,
and a lot of people are really wondering, like, well, she definitely should have been part white in Origins.
yeah.
Because she was, like, a nun who she just was aware that she had natural necromantic abilities, but she wasn't, like, black.
Yeah,
aligned.
no, she should have... Her creature side should have been white.
Black-white.
I think it could have just been white, and then flip.
Yeah, it could have been... That actually
I think that would have made a lot more sense.
that would have worked well with flavor. The only problem is we already had Kithian. That'd be cool. A cycle of planeswalkers flip like that, with the exception of they flip into other colors.
Yeah.
Like, very similar to that. That'd be really cool.
I think that would work. I want Norin to be a planeswalker. Can we have Norin planeswalker, please?
No, you want to know why? Because Norin's planeswalker would read 0, exile Norin the Wary. Or sorry, Norin, the ultimate coward. He would literally just planeswalk to another plane. You would summon him, and he would planeswalk away.
He just exiles.
That would be he would loyalty 1, 0 ability, shuffle him into your library, and you would have to just cast him again to bring him back.
I want this card. He could be like a 2-mana planeswalker.
Like, he shows up, he's like, dude, fuck off and leave again. Just like, leave me alone. Like, no.
I want this.
I need your help. He's like, good job. Know what I can do? Leave. And he just leave again.
I want this so bad. The problem is Norin's Planeswalker Spark would never ignite. Because a Planeswalker Spark typically ignites when you are in mortal peril. And Norin is never in mortal peril.
Well, he could slip up. And if he ever does slip up, he's like, oh no. Done goofed. Inner coward senses are tingling. Maximum runaway overload. Poof. I did it. I am the ultimate coward. I really want this card. I'm gonna go home and make this and post this on Facebook.
He'll be the only planeswalker ever with one ability.
Yeah, but like what I could totally see is just like his just 0 shuffle in your library. Just like if you've like and just have like an ability, like if you have cast Norin the Wary 5 times this game, you win.
Just keep
and just
bringing
play,
him
just
back.
like, dude, come on.
Oh my god.
Fun fact, Norin actually has a lot of flavor text on other cards.
Yeah, because he's snarky.
Yeah, he's snarky, and he just mentions other things. Most of them are like stuff like Jade statues. It's just like some of the other guys dared me to judge it, but I knew it weren't no ordinary hunk of rock.
He's like a hillbilly.
Yeah.
I like the flavor text on Lightning Elemental.
Lightning Elemental's the best. I was going to mention it.
It's easy enough to kill, but I'm not going anywhere near it.
Because Lightning Elemental's a 4/1?
It's a 3/1. But Norin the Wary could kill it.
Yeah. Could easily kill it.
It would kill him back.
Norin the Wary, if he
and
blocked
he just says
2
no.
of them, somehow, he would be able to kill both of them. He would also die, but he would kill both of them.
Yeah? Oh, man.
But Norin is hilarious. Though, fun fact, I thought of this earlier, but we're talking...
I like his flavor text for Saber-Toothed Tiger. I fear anything with teeth measured in hand spans.
That is fair. Like, you can't fault a man for that. I was just like, and visit lemurs. Lemurs? Is that all? Finally, something harmless. They're like 4 3s.
And they're not lemurs like he thinks they are.
Yeah. It's lemurs.
I like it, Goblin Shrine.
I actually really want Norin the Wary as a planeswalker, but I want him to suck. I want him to be the only planeswalker worse than Tybalt. Not because he's bad, but just because he refuses to do anything for you.
Yeah, no, I want him to have a really good ability, but never be able to use it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I want him to have, like, a -6 that you can't even get if
SAS target creature.
Like, just a -6 that does something awesome, but he comes in with, like, 2 loyalty counters, and he doesn't have a plus.
That'd be... Now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. It's like, he enters with 1 loyalty, and just has the ability. He enters battlefield with X additional loyalty counters, where X is the number of times you've cast Norin, the Ultimate Coward, this game. So just keep casting him, and it has that exile ability, or shuffle into library ability. It's like,
Yeah,
leave me
I
alone.
like it.
It's like -10, deal 20 damage to target player. It's like, fine, I'll kill him. Jesus.
Fine! Oh.
That'd be great.
That'd be hilarious. I think that's a great note to end on. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Norin, the Ultimate Coward, the Planeswalker. I'm gonna go home and make that card.
Do it. Do it. And then just post it at the end of this video.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, thanks for listening to Pick a Card, Any Card. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or card suggestions, you can email us at
pacac.cast@gmail.com.
or you can leave them in the comments below.
Thank you and good night.